Hello, are you here to debate?
Hello, good morning. Yes, I am.
All right, what's your name and how old are you?
My name is James, and I am 25.
Hey, James, what are you here to talk about?
Um, I would like to talk about the one that is, sorry, I'm trying to look at it here. Pro-choice all 9 months.
All right, what about it?
So, just to kind of understand a little better, so when you say pro-choice all 9 months, are you saying that a woman should have the right to abort a baby up to the 9 month point?
Yeah, so pro choice on 9 months basically just says that at any point during the pregnancy, you can remove a fetus from your body. However, we do make the distinction that prior to sentience, so prior to 24 weeks of gestation, you can remove the fetus in any way possible. So whether you want to kill it or not, I don't really care. After 24 weeks of gestation, we would just say that unless it's for medical reasons, you would remove the fetus uh, with you would have an abortion method that prioritizes the life of the fetus. So this would be either a hysterotomy abortion or an induction abortion.
Okay, and then so quick question. So, I mean, I don't really know the science on this. So, why is 24 months considered, or sorry, 24 weeks considered sentient?
That's just one of the necessary conditions that I and some and multiple other people have for sentience. So 24 weeks is when your neurons will hit a specific stage of neuron maturation to be able to process sentience. It's when your brain will be complex enough to be able to process it. It's when there will be enough neural development to process it. And it's when your thalamocortical connections will link up with your sense organs in a way in which you'll be able to experience the world around you.
Got it. And then you said, so after that point, you were saying that the abortion method should be done in a way that prioritizes the life of whom? Sorry, I think I missed
Of
that part.
prioritizes the life of the fetus unless the mother's life is at risk, then do whatever you want. But if the mother's life is
Okay.
not at risk, I would say that like at 24 weeks you're granted some level of moral consideration. And
Okay.
so because you now have that moral consideration, we would not take your life. Like we wouldn't kill you now unless
Okay,
it was
got
like
it. So
necessary
there,
for the
so
rights
there
of another
are
human.
Got it. So there are abortion methods then that you can do that don't kill the fetus, but somehow remove it from the pregnant person.
Yeah, after 24 weeks, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I simply just didn't know that.
Hmm.
Okay, well then, I mean, I guess that sounds fine. I mean, it's just, I mean, I guess it's based off of your opinion on sentience, which, you know, at the end of the day, that's just kind of your opinion. So, there's no, I mean, like when you come, I guess I should ask this real quick then. So when you came to your, like you said, you and some other people like kind of agree on sentience, like is at that point with the neurons and things like that. Do you feel as though that's something that you are just kind of set in stone on, or is that something that you feel like if there was like, let's just say, for example, scientific research came back and said like, like X, Y, and Z. This is like sentient by a certain definition at this point, right? Would you be willing to change your opinion on that, or is that something that's like set in stone?
I mean, this the start of sentience can be wherever they want to put it, right?
Yeah,
But again,
yeah.
I said that we shouldn't kill a fetus unless it. So here's the thing: sentience can be moved back. Sure, you could move sentience back to 14 weeks, but there's no
Yeah.
way to end the rights violation without killing the fetus at 14 weeks. So I would still
Hmm.
say that if uh, of termination of the fetus is still morally justified in this regard. At 24 weeks, though, there are ways to end the rights violation without terminating the fetus. So this is why I would call for this at that point. But like,
Okay.
yeah, I would still say that you can unalive it prior.
Okay, I got you. I got you there. So then, I guess my whole kind of thing there would be, like I do understand there are certain situations where, like the act of even like like having sex, having a child or whatever, right? Like I understand there's certain situations where it was not desired by like one or both parties that are in the situation, right? Like people can be assaulted or like drugged or whatever the case is. But I think that isn't there some kind of responsibility people should bear when they do an action? Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, if you have a child, right? If you have sex, you understand like the chance of having a child. So whether or not we consider it sentient or something like that, I feel like wouldn't it be a little unfair for like just morally speaking, wouldn't it be a little unfair to perform an action and then making someone else who had no involvement in you performing that action paying for the consequence? And in this situation, I'm referring to, I guess, the fetus.
No, and I'll explain why. I don't believe that you will. I believe that we have some level of causal obligation to sentient creatures within our
Hmm.
society, but I don't believe we have
Yeah.
causal obligation to non-sentient entities. I don't believe that a non-sentient entity requires me to provide it with anything, right? Like I can have a plant inside my house that is dying, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not immoral for me to let this plant die. You know what I mean? Like that would not be an immoral action for me to let the plant die. So no,
Mm.
I don't believe that you're held causally obligated to a creature that is not sentient. My other contention with this would be that you're doing a lot of heavy lifting when you use
Hmm.
phrases like, "Well, you're killing someone," right? Because the whole point of the
Hmm.
sentience is that like prior to this fetus is not someone. There's no person here,
Okay.
right? That's one of the reasons why I'm so heavily
Hmm.
into sentience and personhood because I don't believe it to be a person.
Okay. But I mean, shouldn't we ascribe some value? Like, I understand the idea of like non-sentient versus like sentient, but I think that shouldn't there be some value prescribed to those who have the ability to become sentient? You know, I like while it isn't sentient in the moment, like this is something with the 100% the potential of sentience. So like it to me, I mean, like not to say lack of a better word, it's like it is just kind of a matter of time, and then to say, okay, well, we can snip it in the bud while it's not sentient and we don't owe it any duty, but we know it's going to become sentient and we know that it's going to have duties, rights, and responsibilities. I feel like that's kind of a little morally shaky, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this would just be a potential argument. I don't argue from potential,
Hmm.
I argue for capacity. So
Yeah,
once you hit that level of development, you'll always have the capacity for sentience until you're brain dead. That capacity will always exist. Even if you currently don't have if you're currently not deploying it, the capacity is still there, right?
100%.
So I argue capacity. The problem with potential is potential you're not arguing for what the thing currently is or currently
Hmm.
has. You're arguing
Hmm.
I won't say arbitrary, but you're arguing more of a concept, and you're saying, well,
Yeah,
this thing when given the right environmental factors, this thing will turn into X, right?
yeah,
That can
yeah.
be pushed back though as far as you want. Like that can go back to sperm because given the right environmental factors, sperm will become sentient as well. But I think we all
Okay.
recognize that like we probably shouldn't give personhood to sperm, right? It just intuitively wouldn't make any sense.
Hmm. No, I see what you're saying there. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying there. But so okay, no, and that's sorry. I'm just trying to digest real quick. No, I think that that is a fair point. However, but I do think that there is some kind of and maybe I'm actually curious to hear your opinion on this because there is some kind of because it isn't such a situation like a like I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. But I mean, I guess it is a situation where, to me, like there are people who are entering in knowing the ramifications, or like not ramifications, but knowing the conditions that they're creating, right? And they know what they're doing, right? For a lot of cases, right? People, they know that there's a chance to have a child, right? However, when the child comes, now all of a sudden, like we are trying to like obfuscate our responsibility. I guess maybe responsibility is not the right word because it's like making some implications there. But I think that for cause and effect actions like this, shouldn't we have some kind of sorry, I'm not explaining it great. But do you kind of understand what I'm trying to get at here?
Yeah, my only response would be again, I don't believe that you have a causal obligation to a non-sentient entity. So even if you caused a non-sentient, like if I plant a tree in my
Mhm.
backyard, it is now not
Mhm.
on me to care for that tree until that tree is fully grown, right? Like just because I
Mm.
planted the tree doesn't mean anything, right?
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
just
No. No.
still I don't believe that you're causally obligated to non-sentient things. I think you can only be causally obligated to sentient things, and even sometimes
No.
only sentient things within your society, right? Um,
Okay.
uh, so yeah, that would just be my
Okay. No. No. I think that's a. I think that's a good enough point there. No, I appreciate that.
yeah, for sure.
Have a great day.
You too.